Hey, thanks for stopping by at Twisted Art Designs. Are you ready to start a new project? I've got a super fun one in mind, and this is going to be a series, so it's going to be lots of videos. I'm going to try to keep them each one short for you to follow along, and it is creating an altered book, and the theme of the book is going to be with Julie Nutting paper doll stamps. So if you are a fan of the Julie Nutting Prima cling stamps, that's what the book is going to be. It's going to be tons of paper dolls, lots of cool backgrounds, tips, tricks, ideas, windows, all kinds of great fun stuff. So let's get started. And the first step is going to be finding your book. So the first thing you need to be sure is that you find a book that is got a decent thickness to it, because we're going to add a lot of fun things to it. We are going to remove some pages, but I'll talk about that in a minute. And you need to find a string bound book. So what that's going to mean is that the pages are not just glued in. See if you can see that. See where you see that it has been put together using strings. You can open the book right into the crease and look for those little strings, and you'll know that the book is string bound. So that's what you need so that your book doesn't fall apart. Second important thing, this one came from a library. So this was in the toss away bin from Agua Fria High School Library. It went to our local library for some reason in Goodyear. But they sell them, if they don't put them in their library, then they sell them usually for 50 cents. If they don't get bought, they get sent to the junk heap. So I'm saving this book. So this is the book I'm going to use. I love the size of it. You need to be sure that the book is at least, this is 8 1/4 inches tall. You need to be sure that your Julie Nutting stamps fit on the pages. So if the book is too small, it won't work. So when you're selecting a book, make sure it's 8 1/4 or bigger, longer, so that your stamps, your Julie Nutting stamps, they're all about the same size. Some might be a little bit longer, but when I'm holding them up, they're going to fit perfectly in this book. So that's what you want to be sure, is that your book fits your stamps. Once you've selected your book, what's the first step, you might ask? Well, the first step in doing the altered book is going to be to remove some pages. You don't want to leave all those pages, because as you create this book, it's going to be too guttered. It's going to end up really like this. So you kind of want to, it's going to end up a little bit like that anyway, because that's just what happens in an altered book as we add fun and interesting things to it. But you do want to remove some pages. So what I do with that is I find the sections where the strings come together, and then I start to remove pages. So a lot of times you can flip through the book and you can see the page where the thread goes across and across and across. Those are the best places to remove pages. In this particular book, I can't seem to find those. It's almost like the thread goes all the way through the entire book, which is possible. And that doesn't matter either. You just have to be careful when you're removing pages. If you can find those places, that's the best place. But if not, don't worry about it. And start removing some pages. And what I like to do is remove some in the center, some in the back, some in the front, and skip around so that it's really even, so that through here, your spaces where you've removed pages is really even. And there's actually a really great video by someone else that I'll see if I can find and link. And she gives some really good insights about removing pages in a book to create an altered book. So the next question you're going to ask is, well, how many pages do I remove? That is going to be one of those things where you kind of have to decide how many sections your book is going to be. And, I like to wing it only because I don't know, am I going to create windows, doors, hidden things, tags in the end, flips, all kinds of things like that. And I don't know how many pages that's going to take. So the other thing you can do is, if you don't want to remove the pages at the beginning, you can start creating your book. And then as you go along, so you're you're making some sets and you're making some pages and you know you're going to do this part here, and then you want to come to maybe the center and do a tunnel. So you're going to know you're going to need a lot of pages for a tunnel. Figure out how many sets, and you're going to put, depending on how thick your pages are, these are very thin, so I would put 3 pages together. You're going to glue them together with Mod Podge. And I'm going to give you another video on that someone has an awesome video on making the pages really smooth so they don't wobble and warp. You know, I mean, we all learn from each other, and I found this video and I really loved it. So I'll link that. So you're going to put sets together. So if you wanted to do a tunnel, you'd put 3 and 3 and 3 and figure out how many tunnel pieces do you want. You want 10 pages of tunnel, then you're going to use 30 pages in the book. So your tunnel might be in the middle, your tunnel might be in the back, you might start your book with a tunnel, you might make the whole book a tunnel, whatever. But for me, when I'm working on my books, I don't like to go through and remove all the pages ahead, because then sometimes I say, well, I want to put in a window, a plastic window of some sort. Now I don't have enough pages to put together to create that window. So I like to just work around the book. And then as I'm starting to get closer to finishing, or I'm starting to see the book take shape, then I can carefully remove some pages here and there where it's too thick, and where I've decided, okay, I've got this section here, and yeah, there's a lot of pages. I can remove some pages in this section. It's not going to impede my tunnel or my doors or my flip or things like that. And if it's your first time doing an altered book, trust me, this will make sense as we go along. We're going to just start the project and work on a project in the front, and then we'll continue on and work on something else in the middle, and I'll show you all those things like windows and doors and whatnot. So to start this book, what I'm going to do is I always use that first page, and so I'm going to Mod Podge those 2 pages together because that'll make a nice thick page. And then I think I'm going to do, for the first idea that I have, I'm going to make, this one needs 3 pages because the pages are thin. I have come across books that have really nice thick pages and then you only need 2. Just use your judgment. When you use Mod Podge and you put your pages together and they dry, you'll feel whether or not they're nice weight, you know, a nice weight, thick weight that's not too heavy, not too thin. You don't want them to be flimsy. So I'm going to put together some sets. Because what I want to do is going to take 4 sets. So I'm going to make 1 set here. I'm going to put 3 pages together here to make that second set. And let me clamp them and show you. So right in the front of my book, I'm going to have 1 set, and then the second set, and then a third set with 3 pages, and then the 4th set with 3 pages. So that's how I'm going to start the book. So the first step and the first project would be is to Mod Podge these pages together in these sets and then totally let it dry. And then we'll move on to the next video. Please follow the links to get some ideas on how to glue your pages together nice and flat, how to remove pages from the book, how to choose a book. I'll link the other YouTube channels that I've used for that, and that'll help you out too, along with my videos. Okay, so that's going to be the first step. We are going to have, when we're done, we're going to have a beautiful altered book, all Julie Nutting theme. And I also want to say that this project is for making an altered book, but if you don't want to make an altered book and you want to follow along and learn these techniques for backgrounds and the fun things that we're going to put, the Julie Nutting stamps, how we're going to put them into the book, you could also use a pre-done journal like a Ranger Delusions journal, or find some kind of an art journal that you want to use instead of creating an altered book. But if you haven't created an altered book before, I suggest giving this a try. It is so much fun. Once you get started, you'll be totally addicted, and the book will be something unique that you've never created before. So if you want to follow along, you'll learn how to alter a book. And if you don't want to alter a book, then find an art journal like a Ranger Delusions, because they have nice thick pages and you can still do the techniques and add your girls to that book. Because either way, this series is going to be all about learning some new techniques, new ideas, tips and tricks, using paper dolls, using the Julie Nutting stamps and decorating them in different ways. So you might pick up and learn something even if you don't want to create an altered book with us. So if you're going to join along and enjoy this fun project, give me a thumbs up and a comment below, hey, I'm in, and let me know how many people are going to be playing along and doing this fun project. And I know not everybody is into using Facebook, but I'm going to create a Facebook group that's going to be specifically for these videos, this project, and where you can post pictures of what you create in your Julie Nutting altered book. So go find yourself a book, and a string-bound book. You can find them at your local library. Look for their section for books that they're going to be getting rid of. Thrift shops, yard sales. Go through all your old books. You might find a book that you already have that you wouldn't mind using for this type of a project. So find your book, and then the first step is going to be making your first set of four sections in the front that are totally glued together and dried, and then we can continue on. And there's no rush. This is going to be an ongoing project, so if you get behind on a video, life happens, and if you get behind and you think, oh gosh, I'm way far behind, she's already put out 3 or 4 more videos and I'm still on the second one, don't sweat it. This is going to be posted forever and ever, and you can take your time, do it at your own pace, do it when you have a few minutes to sit down and play and create. It's supposed to be your fun time, so don't stress about it. And if you have questions of any kind, give me a comment. I try to answer everybody's comments. So if you have a question, let me know. There's also my email in the link, so you can also email me questions if you prefer to do that. But I'll help out everybody I can, and we'll have fun together, and we'll do it at our own pace. So let's get started. Go find a book, and let's get ready to play.